Yeah, it's your main man, Apostle Raw, here to edify, entertain while giving game in Jesus' name. And I got my squad with me, my loved ones.
Yeah, I wish I had a cool intro like Apostle Raw does, but I'm just Travis and the Ghost, a.k.a. Pastor Trav.
Hey.
You're still cool, though.
Yeah.
Nate Dimmie.
Nate Dimmie, what do you do?
I just keep it real. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I do.
I dig it.
Okay.
Let's do something new this time. Let's give them our handle to whatever, YouTube or whatever we are doing, Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can follow me pretty much anywhere at Travis and the Ghost, all one word. You can find me, Travis and the Ghost on YouTube, Instagram. Those are the main two that I really mess with. And I drop a new song and a devotional every Tuesday of 2020. It's a crazy endeavor, but yeah, that's what I'm on
What's
right
the
now.
name of that series you got going on?
52 Tuesdays. If you don't know, there's 52 weeks in a year.
Come on.
And yeah, every Tuesday of 2020, dropping.
Fire. Nate, where do we find you at?
You can find me at Royal Family Tennis on Instagram. That's all I really use. Anything else, you can find me as Nate Dimmie.
Nate Dimmie.
Nate Dems, let's go.
Nate Dimmie.
Apostle Raw on all handles. Also A-Raw Productions, that's more the beat production side, but Apostle Raw, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I'm there putting out content and whatnot. And this is the Three Wisemen podcast. Let's go. I wish I had the claps like Drink Champs. Yeah, I wish I had that, but it's all good.
When we get our actual official podcast studio, we'll be rocking it.
Right, we're gonna be ready. All right, so let's go over a couple things, man. We got some topics for you guys today that we want to jump into. First and foremost, praise God, we're gonna talk about some fitness. Some fitness, right? So The Rock. We're talking about The Rock and his fitness disciplines right now.
The craziest thing about The Rock that I've seen is the food regimen and like the pre-made food for each day, step by step, what he has to do to be able to get the certain amount of calories and the right amount of protein and whatnot. That was crazy to me. Like he's disciplined.
The Rock, he's just very big. He's a gigantic guy. So I would love to look at his disciplines and take a little bit of them and add them to my life, but he's just another level.
I mean, someone that size also requires a different kind of diet than the average person who's trying to get fit.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
The amount of calories he has to take in, because if you watch some of those exercises that he's doing, like I seen him do, like he was on an open road a mile and he's doing like lunges for like a mile, with all these weights on his body and chains and all this stuff. And I'm just like, all right, if that's one part of the exercise, like how much calories do you need to be able to burn that much? And then to stay, the size that he is, that's a whole nother level. But food prep, let's talk about it. Food prep is big.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you this, I started juicing maybe about a month ago, and I've been on it. I've been doing a juice a day, right? And this last week, I didn't make juice. I got a dope juicer at home, and I just did not make juice this week. And my body feels crazy this week from 1 week of not juicing after I did it for, say, about a month. It's wild the way that the stuff that you put in your body. So food prep, that was one of the things I was doing. I would make my juice one day and it would last me. I'd make it, 7 to 8 juices and it would last me the whole week.
See, that's lit.
Right?
Yeah, that's lit. So, what I was doing was the keto, right? So I did that for about as long as you were doing the juice, and I've been doing the keto. And it's funny because we haven't even talked about this, but I fell off not a week, but about 3 or 4 days. And so you start to feel those like keto flu symptoms, like you wake up and
keto flu.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Like once your body starts getting reintroduced to like I guess sugars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And different types of carbs, you start to feel sick. Like you start to get a sore throat, and your body like it almost
wild.
it
That's
reacts
how I felt
sick.
yesterday. Like I had all of a sudden like phlegm
Right.
and like just started feeling weird.
Yeah, your body goes through things.
Yeah, I've been doing vegan, and then I added in a fish for like dinners or lunches.
Got you.
One time within the day, I'll add in fish. I just think the most important thing is doing what fits for you. Because if it's not realistic of you being able to do it every day, then I don't feel like it's I don't think that it's gonna be something that you're really able to sustain. Like if you have to look forward to a cheat day or going off or feeling like you need to get out of this torture per se,
Who
then
came up with this cheat day idea?
yeah, it's just like, I feel as though for me, I need something that I can continually do, and I have found a good balance of being able to do this in my energy, like from what I was before to what I am now. It's just a obvious difference. So,
Right.
but the meal prep thing, it's too much time. Too much time for me to be doing the meal prep. So this is another way, especially since I am more so losing and maintaining my weight to
But you don't
keep it
cook.
going. I do cook.
Kinda.
No, I do cook. I cook spaghetti and meatballs. I cook chicken. Once you know like 4 good meals to cook, it's like you can just riff off of all those. Now the question is, do I like to cook? No, I'm not the Iron Chef. No, I don't like to cook.
Yeah, I love to get down.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely. My thing though is, cause I try to go into veganism. That's my comfort zone of getting healthy. Like when I think of healthy, I think plant-based,
Okay.
whole food,
Yeah.
plant-based diet. That's what I think. But I'm ill with the grill. So when it comes to these steaks, these short ribs, this chicken and all that, that's where I live. So it's kind of hard.
So there's a few things. My vegetable game is on point. I'm not even gonna front and like say like, oh, like I'm okay. No, like my vegetable game is on point. And Nate Dimmie, I mean, all you guys
Yeah, we know.
can
We
vouch,
know.
right?
Yeah.
The thing that you
Best
throw on the
vegetables, I
grill
think.
is cauliflower. You cut them into, you can get 2 steaks out of cauliflower, right? You get slices, like actual, and then you throw them. The trick to vegetables on the grill is you got to get that char. Like that black crusty
Right.
char.
Right.
That's where the flavor is at. So I mean, and borderline, you feel like you might be burning them, but you're not.
Right. Well, see, I like my stuff on the grill. I like my stuff with a little bit of char. Even like, the hot dogs and all that type of stuff. It's got to have a little bit of that on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's like grill mastery 101.
Right,
Put
right.
a char on it.
Put the char.
Yeah, keep the char.
But the truth is, vegetables will never be as good as a steak. So
But see, that's another thing, because I did the vegan for like 4 months. Before we went to the Philippines, I was vegan for months. And I got to a point, you know how vegans get. Vegans get to talking crazy. Vegans are like gangbangers. Once they stay in it for long enough, they start disrespecting everybody else's
Yeah,
diet.
you feel better than
Start
everyone else,
Right,
yeah.
right. They get crazy. They're like Bluetooth people. You know what I'm saying? They think
Right.
they're better than
They
you.
go around making documentaries,
Right.
telling everybody that their food is poison.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I was in that zone for a minute until we went out to Guatemala. Matter of fact, not the Philippines, Guatemala. And it was like, man, these are real, like, regular chickens running around. I'm gonna eat that egg real quick and see.
right.
This is not genetically modified. Let's transition. Let's talk about cheat days. Nate, you kind of gave us a little piece of how you feel about cheat days. So we'll start with you and then kind of go around. Like, does it having a little free time, does that help you or does that hinder you on maintaining your fitness or whatever your goal is?
well, the point of consistency for me, what I've seen is that I can't. If I'm on something, I'm doing it full out, completely into it. And so when I add in a cheat day where I could just go all out, it's almost like I have to re-establish that discipline that I had for it. And each time I do the cheat day, it gets worse and worse. It gets harder to get back into the same mindset that I had for it. So for me, cheat days, I haven't had a cheat day per se. I did try to eat some meat, but I immediately felt the effect and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
But you are eating fish though,
Yeah,
so you're technically a pescatarian.
Yeah, like I said, you got to go with what fits for you.
Right, right.
If I didn't have the fish, then I would have to do a bunch of meal prep, which I do not like doing, and I get home late.
Right.
So for me, I wanted to add something in that if I'm out, I could just find something and get it. Or when I go back, I just slap a salmon on the grill, have my teriyaki sauce already there, and just put it on a bed of rice and some vegetables, whether it's a salad. So
that works.
it's just easier than having to do all this other stuff and kind of like put something together on the fly that you just gotta keep prepping.
Got you. Travis, what's good?
Cheat days, I don't even know what that is. I feel like I don't know. I don't like set out to like diet and like, oh, I'm gonna do this regimen. I just I try and like implement lifestyle decisions that I just do, and then I fall off, and then I reinstate my lifestyle decision, and then I fall off. So it's not like a cheat day. I usually have about 3-day binges. You know what I mean? That's really what it looks like.
So wait, so that's the thing though. Cheat days established, right? If you establish it properly, this is my experience. If you establish it properly, it can help you, but it does hurt if you do too much. Lack of cheat days turn into binges, right? To where you just like a werewolf. Like the moon came out, you're like, I just start eating whatever, you know? But an established regimen of cheat day, like I don't do it once a week, but I'll do cheat day every 2 weeks because once a week can get crazy.
Yeah,
but if every 2 weeks, and not necessarily the whole day, like going into a cheat day, or what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna fast all the way as far as I can through this day. Then I'm gonna eat the craziest meal with mad disrespect on my diet right now, and I'm just gonna get it in. And you have to leave it at that. But sometimes that's what helps me keep going. It's like, man, you just got 4 more days to the cheat day, bro. Don't leave the diet. You know what I'm saying?
I like that because I'm more so someone who can discipline. I try to discipline myself and stick with the program. And there are some days where I'm like, man, I gotta like lock myself in my room so that I don't go out and do a cheat or whatever it is. But I think
you gotta lock yourself up.
Yeah, man.
This is getting pretty real.
Gotta lock myself in my room and start praying, fasting. God, I'm gonna fast. I don't.
Nate's in his room, chained to the radiator, like. Food.
Nah, cause the benefits though of eating healthy, having a good lifestyle.
Yes.
It gives you a baseline to be able to add in what you need specifically for your lifestyle to be able to get where you want to go.
Right.
If you don't have a baseline of anything, then it just makes things so much harder. And for me, as a coach and an athlete, I've seen this just helps out.
Okay, so what about for the people that you're mentoring and coaching, like doing meal prep and setting up meal plans for them? Is that something do you go that far?
Yeah.
But not for yourself.
Not for myself because, well, I know what works for me. For them, they don't know.
It's you trying to develop and find
younger
out.
people.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out how do I go about doing this and keeping a good mentality and keeping, because for me, for example, I mean, like I said, I'm used to putting myself through a certain amount of hurt, pain, suffering. You gotta be able to love suffering, essentially. And if they're not at that point, like what does suffering look like for you in your life, right? If you're too extreme with it, it's gonna hurt you more than anything. If you're not disciplined enough in it, then you're gonna become loose. So you gotta find what is a good amount of suffering in my life towards my goals and what I'm doing.
Right. So my last question regarding the cheat day, right? Can you still get fit? If you go hard 6 days a week, and then you have 1 cheat day a week.
Oh, yeah.
Or every 2 weeks, right? Or, you do 3 cheat days a month, right? Something like that. Can you still get fit, in your opinion?
Yes, absolutely.
You can, but I will say, as you go longer, your cheat days, like a cheat day for me, 2 months ago wouldn't look like a cheat day for me now, because you fall in love with that success, you fall in love with moving forward in a certain way. So a cheat day looking like all sugars and stuff, that's gonna get you on a mental level as well on a physical level.
I don't even know if I agree with the whole cheat day philosophy, because I think about, all right, we're talking about physical things, food, something that we need, right? Like, what about in the spiritual sense? Like, we believe we're Christians, right? And it's like, do I get to just cheat every 2 weeks on my devotion to God and just go out and like go crazy and sin? or like,
So go with it. What about the other way around? Right? What about if you flip that? Because we just established that, yeah, you can stay fit if you have a day where you kind of just eat whatever, right? And you loosen up on your disciplines as far as eating. What about the Christian that only shows up? What about the Christian whose Christian life is a cheat day?
Right.
All they do is Sunday. All they do is 3 days a month where they come to church, they fellowship. The other 6 days a week, the other,
Right.
2
4
weeks,
Sundays.
there's nothing.
So
Right,
they-
but what
they're
if they miss a Sunday, right?
they're cheating on their sin life.
Right, they're cheating on their sin life with their Christian life.
I mean, you could look at it both ways, you know? Like, one, I don't want to be the type of follower of Jesus that has these outbursts of sin, or this outburst of just crazy living, and then I come back and I'm good the other days and I stay on this regimen, or the opposite way of other people that their life is all out there, and then they have these few days where they come to church and they are quote unquote living it with God.
Right,
you know?
right.
What do you
Well,
think?
I think that the Bible speaks to having a clear conscience and how that helps you in the long run. So there is an aspect of, you want to keep your conscience clear, and that's going to help you moving forward and towards whatever goal you're trying to set. But at the same time, if I'm thinking about a relationship, there are days where you need some time off from your significant other, or someone if you're around them all the time. So how does that play a factor
Yeah, but
in your
time
Christian
off is
life?
different than cheating.
Right.
Like, we
Well,
just, even the
time
word
off
cheat day, like, it's
is-
like, just that concept. Like, I don't get a cheat day in my marriage. Like,
We
do you see what I'm saying?
that could be
We
easily
don't get it. I mean, that's a thing, though.
Screwed.
We ain't gonna go too far into
Some
that,
people,
but there's some
right,
people
there's
that really
people
do live
yeah,
their life like that.
oh, I'm going to Vegas. This is my cheap vacation, and,
Right.
and y'all both
Don't
know.
ask no questions
Right?
when I come back
No,
home.
that's not happening.
Right.
Okay, but what about things that you guys have established together as goals within the marriage? Are there cheat days from that? Not cheating on
No.
days.
I think relationally, okay, so if we're looking at it as a relation towards food or a relation towards spirituality,
Yeah.
there's definitely not a cheat day. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
a relationship towards another person. You definitely don't get a cheat day in that regard.
I like
right?
this concept though, but think about it like, do we have relationship with food?
Right.
And what is your relationship with food?
Right.
Because if you feel like you need a cheat day, then your relationship with food could be misused. It's possible.
Right.
I don't want to
Or
go
your
into this
Christian
thing.
life.
Yeah.
Right? In your Christian life, if you need a break or flip it from your sin life,
Yeah.
right? You're like, man, I'm just doing too much out here. I got to go to church this weekend. And it's like,
I gotta balance this out somehow.
something's got to give. I'm going to get a little prayer at the
I need to
altar, then I'm going to
confess.
go do it again. You know what I mean? Like, our relationship, period, that I would have to say you have shifted my idea in the regard of quote unquote cheat day, right?
Yeah.
Is the relationship hindered towards food, towards if there's just this breakout wild day?
But once again, it doesn't have to be a breakout wild day. Like, in relationship, you need time off. And that isn't to say you need to cut it off completely, but there are gonna be times where I don't want to, it's not a sprint day with Jesus, right? It's a walk day with Jesus, something like that. And if you're going towards the goal, I guess you can't really say that it's a cheat day. It's just a different looking day, if that makes sense.
Right.
Well, first
So
of all,
maybe cheat days, saying a cheat day
Right,
is
that's
coming
not the
from
right
the
way to say
wrong
it.
philosophy
Right.
Yeah.
in general, and we have to establish the difference between cheating completely, and is that healthy at all, or just recalibrating, should say.
Okay, so what if we look at it like this, right? Let's eliminate the thought process of cheat and replace that with reward. I have been doing this for X amount of days in order to get a certain result. As I'm getting those results, then I'm able to reward, or I get some type of reward, right? It's like a vacation. Like, we've been in this marriage, I've been going to work, you've been doing this for so long, we going on a vacation.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a cheat as much as it is an award or reward
I
for
like
a
that.
diligent
reward
way.
day. This is my diet vacation day.
Come on, right. Vacation. This is my diet vacation day.
This is my diet resort. This is my all-inclusive day. Right.
Right. Yes.
Speaking of all-inclusive, I gotta find a way to get to Hawaii. All-inclusive, everything paid for.
Are you doing cruise, or are you flying out there?
I don't know. You guys been to Hawaii?
Never been to
not.
Hawaii.
Never been
I've
to
been
Hawaii.
been to some places. Never been to Hawaii.
I don't know if
I'm
the
going
cruise
this year, though.
or I don't know if the cruise or the just flying there and just living my best life would be the best way to go.
I would say fly, because the cruise automatically is about to be about 2,500, maybe 3.
just to get there.
all-inclusive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the cool thing about the cruise is that you probably stop at like 2 or 3 islands.
Yeah.
Right.
See Moana.
I won't go back into my timeshare days and break that down. There's ways. But
There's ways.
we ain't going there
We can
right
speak
now.
about that
we ain't
off.
going there right
All
now.
right, but so I don't know. I mean, we want to hear from you guys that are listening in. What does your Christian life look like? As far as, do you feel like you're treating Christianity like a cheat day on your regular life, or possibly are you living a life that's following Jesus most of the time, and then all of a sudden you have these moments where you fall off track and you find yourself in this cheat day binge
Right, the
of
3-day
sin,
binge.
that 3-day binge on sin, and then coming back with repentance, and how often does that happen? I think that, this is real, that I think people deal with, Christians deal with this, and this is real, that you can be walking really well and following God, and all of a sudden you fall into a ditch and you sit in the mud for 3 days,
Right.
and then how do you get back out? How do you get back on course,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like, what is your why? Because if I'm putting this in the terms of an athlete and like an immature versus a mature person, then there comes a point in time where you can establish your whys and just walk in a certain lifestyle. And I think that, are we establishing our whys that fit with us in particular, so that we do not have this on and off, just up and down lifestyle? So,
And that's a great way to look at it. So I think with being a believer, or not even just being a believer, but being something versus doing something, right? The Rock
Yeah.
is not doing fitness.
Right.
The Rock is fit. Like, that's who he, like, when you see him, the discipline's there, the life is there, the lifestyle there. There's an identity in that. He has carved out an identity in who he is as a person, right? A comedian that's always funny has carved out an identity as this funny, Kevin Hart. I immediately think of Kevin Hart because him and The Rock be doing their thing together, right?
Right.
So your why, when your why is attached to who you are, rather. You know what I'm saying? As a Christian,
Yeah.
you say, well, no, I'm a believer in Jesus. Like, I am a son of the Most High God. That's why I'm doing this, because that's who I am. Right? Versus, I'm doing this. If your why is, I'm doing this because I think it's better than what I'm doing, or I think it's the way that people should do it. You know what I mean? Those are difficult whys. That's a very difficult why to live with.
Yeah.
You know, versus knowing this is who you are.
Well, I think it comes back to loving yourself and loving God. And if that has to be the reason why. I mean, it's like I don't stay faithful to my wife or take care of my kids for some external reason that benefits me. It's
Right.
no, it's because I love them and because I don't want to hurt them. And I think when it comes back to you and your own relationship with God, it comes back to, do you love yourself?
Well, I mean, it does benefit you as far as you know the consequences of you not loving them, especially now.
Right,
in
but
this
that's not
CPS.
why I do it, though. I don't do it because I'm afraid of the consequences. I do it because I'm being proactive in my heart position towards them. So it's like, yeah, like the consequences, like we don't eat bad food because we fear the consequences.
Right.
We eat it because we want to indulge and feed a desire in
Yeah,
us
I want a Popeye's chicken sandwich right now.
right now.
What if there are people, though, and this is going back to figuring out individually what works for you. There are people who are motivated by the consequences. Like, my consequences have actions towards this, and I don't want these consequences to hinder these people, so I'm not going to step into that.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I find myself motivated by that.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think reality checks are, you know, everybody kind of goes through reality checks sometimes. Sometimes you do have to look at what would be the future outcome of a certain decision, right? But to get too caught into that, then we find ourselves in an Ecclesiastes type of position. You know what I'm saying? Where Solomon's like, man, I tried this and I tried this and I tried this, and he's kind of breaking down like different reasons of living that he attempted to live by and they failed him. Right? And he's like, the only thing that even had value was the good work that the Lord gave me to do. That's the only thing that he was able to find value in. And so I think sometimes, like, we, you know, when you're trying to find, and I'm not talking about your specific situation,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like, just in general, when you try to create weird, like, mind shifts, like, oh, I'm going to do this for this, and I'm going to keep telling my mind this until I can brainwash it into believing, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case, or you try to use a scare tactic, like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna die, or you know what I mean, that type of stuff, like, that's really unhealthy. And like, so now we're going into, is that mentally healthy to have to tell yourself, or scare, is that emotionally healthy to have to live a fear-based or fear-driven goal? Like,
I don't think there's longevity in it. I think there are short-term reactions to fear that cause us to make changes, but I don't think that they're long-lasting. I think the long-lasting effects that we see in our lives are due to our heart position being centered in love and the proactive reason why we do things. I think that's what causes us to live it out long-term. But we're getting close to closing out, and I just want to encourage you, wherever you're at in this process of whether you are trying to lose weight or you're trying to walk closer in following God, I just believe that if you will learn to love yourself, receive the love of God in your life, that you can be empowered to do anything. And I don't think we should call it cheat day anymore.
no.
Do you
It's reward
guys
day.
agree? It's a reward day.
What'd you say? Dietary vacation. That's what it
Dietary
is.
vacation.
Taking a
Let's
dietary
go.
vacation. So yeah, we love you guys. We hope that you're blessed by this. As you continue to seek the Lord will continue to pour out his love on you, and you will be able to benefit from seeing yourself in a greater light. Y'all be blessed. This is 3 Wisemen Podcast, and we out.
Yeah.